that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear over.
The WNBA seemed to think it could let Caitlin Clark take hard hits night after night, expecting fans to cheer along like it was a middle school halftime show. But here's the twist. After Clark got body-checked like it was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, fans aren't just upset. They're responding with the fury of a Black Friday boycott after the coupons got pulled. The league wanted physical play. Now it's facing a full-court backlash. Who would have guessed that the road to equality in sports would include throwing elbows at the player driving ticket sales? Buckle up, because this controversy is just getting started.
Just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
Oh, the WNBA thought this season would be smooth sailing. How cute. Just as everything was lining up perfectly, ratings through the roof, jerseys selling out, and every Indiana Fever game feeling like a Taylor Swift tour stop. Boom, Caitlin Clark's team threw a wrench in the script. Now she's riding the bench. Fans are reacting like the planet's off its axis. And behind the scenes, the league is quietly spiraling while putting on a brave face for the cameras. Spoiler alert, everything is not fine.
The back. We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000-something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
2 weeks. That's how long Caitlin Clark is out with a strained quadriceps. Not a tear, not a break, just enough to flip the league's narrative on its head. Her thigh basically filed for PTO, and now the Fever's franchise cornerstone is sidelined while the WNBA scrambles to keep the spotlight from dimming. And the reactions? Oh, they've been subtle. If by subtle you mean a full-blown public meltdown.
My God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain. And the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
Clark's fans, arguably the most merch-wearing, Twitter-ranting diehards since peak Michael Jordan stans, are already staging emotional walkouts. A minor injury, they've turned it into a full-blown revolution. I'm done watching until Clark's back. This league isn't worth it without her. Boycott the WNBA. You'd think the league slapped their grandma and kidnapped their dog. Meanwhile, the rest of the WNBA is out here like, "Hi, we exist too." And the internet replies, "Not now, sweetie."
It's the latter. It could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
And Indiana, they are getting a crash course in life without their golden goose. The Caitlin Clark show is on a brief hiatus, and now it's up to Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell to hold the franchise together with sheer grit and metaphorical duct tape. Mitchell's playing like she has 3 lungs, Boston's grabbing boards like she's battling ghosts, and Coach Stephanie White is rewriting game plans like it's the Hunger Games. Yet somehow, the Fever might just stay afloat. Why? Because their upcoming opponents have been about as intimidating as lukewarm soup. No offense, Chicago Sky. Okay, maybe just a little.
No way. Every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. they're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
Let's be honest. The most entertaining part of the WNBA right now isn't the scoreboard, the highlight reels, or even the basketball itself. It's watching the league try to keep the party going when the life of that party, Caitlin Clark, is suddenly benched. Before the injury, Clark wasn't just in the MVP conversation. She was the conversation. Sure, some tried to play it cool, calling her a long shot or good for a rookie, which is like saying Beyoncé is decent for a singer. Please. Clark wasn't just putting up stats. She was dragging an entire franchise back into relevance like a one-woman rescue mission. She had the ratings, the sold-out arenas, the celebrity endorsements, the screaming fans, and the kids in the nosebleeds rocking glitter-glued homemade jerseys. She didn't just bring hype. She rewrote the WNBA's algorithm. We're talking record-breaking viewership, arenas that suddenly remembered what full feels like, and merch disappearing faster than Taylor Swift tickets. Now, with the Queen temporarily off the board, everyone's pretending the MVP race is wide open. Like the rest of the league wasn't orbiting her gravitational pull just 5 minutes ago. Cute.
WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
Our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person. And, you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number one.
Meanwhile, back in Indiana, the Fever are quietly figuring things out, and they might actually come out stronger for it. Without Clark carrying the entire load, the rest of the squad is stepping up. And when she returns, rested, refocused, and completely over the noise, buckle up, picture this. Clark storms back onto the court, draining threes from the parking lot, silencing every critic who dared write her off after 2 weeks of quad rehab. That's not just a comeback, it's an encore. And here's the real kicker. If the Fever can weather this stretch, stay competitive, and maybe even steal a few sneaky wins, they're going to be a problem. A big one. Because with Clark healthy, Boston playing with confidence, and Mitchell fully locked in, you're looking at a potential playoff spoiler with the momentum of a runaway train. So yes, Caitlin Clark is out, for now. But the WNBA? It's still rolling. Maybe louder than ever. Because right now, every storyline is hitting at once: MVP debates, rising stars, fan feuds, conspiracy theories, and the most anticipated comeback tour in recent memory.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
To all the fans boycotting the league until their basketball messiah returns, here's a little reality check. Without Caitlin Clark, watching the WNBA feels like showing up after the headliners left the stage. Yes, the league is packed with talent, but without her, the spark is gone, the energy's flat, and the drama? Lukewarm at best. So go ahead, rage tweet from your Clark-themed beanbag chair. Because right now, the WNBA isn't evolving, it's surviving. And when she comes back, it won't just be basketball again. It'll be the show everyone's been waiting for. We're in this strange paradox. The games are cleaner, smoother, but no one's watching. No more viral fouls. No more hot takes debating whether that was a hard foul or an attempted exorcism. With Clark no longer getting body checked every 5 minutes, the discourse has quieted, and that's what's got the league nervous. Because controversy sells. Let's be honest. As much as the league champions basketball excellence, the numbers didn't spike when someone nailed a textbook backdoor cut. They spiked when Clark took a hit and Twitter screamed assault. A Raikau gunball drops 30? Crickets. Clark takes a hard screen. Headlines for days. The WNBA has been living off chaos-fueled PR. And now that their chaos engine is benched, they are staring at the stat sheets like it's their credit card bill at the end of the month. And let's not even talk about merch. Somewhere, in a warehouse, there are pallets of Caitlin Clark jerseys sitting quietly like, hey, remember us? Sales dipped the minute she limped off the court. And now the accountants are sweating like they just bet the farm on Beanie Babies in 2024. A 12-game Caitlin Clark hiatus? It's the WNBA's version of a solar eclipse, brief, rare, and wildly inconvenient for anyone trying to sell tickets.
After all, Dan, she's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.